Hello and welcome to another episode of Market House, the podcast where we talk all things Disney. My name is Caleb.
And I'm Caitlin.
And this week we talk about Disney's 100th anniversary, a tram collision,
and our recent trip to the Disneyland Resort.
Let's dive in. We are on episode number 52. Can you believe it?
No.
It's been 52 episodes.
A whole year, technically in weeks.
Yeah. We missed a few because
Yes.
we just hit our year anniversary, a few weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
So we missed a few weeks there, but yeah.
This is exciting. I literally can't wait to get to 100. This is going to be so fun. And then 200.
A little over
and then
halfway
300.
there. But the week, what did we do? What did we do this last week? I had a little last minute work trip, which was not super fun. Those are never fun. So I had to fly across the country and then a day and a half later just come right back.
I'm glad you got to come home early.
I did. Meetings went well, so
yep.
we cut it by a day, but still, it's just a lot of travel for very little. I don't know.
Meanwhile, Caitlin over here.
Yeah, you got a lot of movie watching in.
A lot of movies, staring into the abyss, missing my best friend.
Yeah.
I
It's
hate
hard.
when you're not home. Honestly, I'm the first to say Caleb's like my best friend, so I love being around him at all times of the day. He could probably get a break from me, but
Yeah, like it's weird because I think this is any couple, like the first couple hours, you're like, all right, I'll watch a movie that Caitlin usually doesn't like, right? Back at the hotel, or I'll watch a TV show that she's really not into, and then you're done. Like, I'm like, okay, that was fun. I'm ready to see her now.
I just like being with my little bestie.
Yeah, life's fun.
And we've been watching a ton of Halloween movies, so that's been also very fun.
Yeah, and it kind of we had to take a break because of the stupid trip, and so we picked right up when I got home.
Yeah,
which was
last
fun.
night we watched that new Werewolf by Night, that Marvel thing on Disney
Yeah,
Plus.
so I wrote this episode a few days ago when I didn't know, and we'll talk actually about Werewolf by Night in a second here, but wrote part of the episode not knowing what this meant, and so I was very confused when some news came up about this character, and then we watched it last night and I put it all together.
It was really spooky.
Yeah.
It was
It was good. We were both surprised that I guess Marvel's usually violent and stuff, but this was like,
This
I
was
don't know.
intense.
It's
This
kinda-
was pretty graphic, especially with a Disney name behind it.
Yeah.
But again,
like Disney Plus, right? It's on Disney Plus, which is so weird.
yeah.
But it was good. I liked it.
And
was fun.
it's less than an hour, so
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend watching it.
It was fun.
So, yeah.
But really quick, before we dive into the episode, before we get into that news and all that good stuff, consider leaving a review on
Yes,
Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It's a giant help. Again, just helps us kind of show up in those search results a little easier. And again, it's just a free way of helping out the show. We also have a new way of supporting Market House, and that is if you're already planning a trip to the parks, if you need to buy those Disney tickets, book a hotel, you can do so with Undercover Tourist. We've mentioned them a few times in the past, just how much we like using them. We've bought all of since we're Magic Key holders, we don't buy our Disneyland tickets through them, but we buy our Disney World tickets every single time we book a trip out there, and they've always been great. And you can save a few bucks booking through them, and they have a return policy that's better than Disney themselves. And so if you're going to go on a trip and you're already going to buy the tickets anyways, if you use the link in our episode description, that helps us out a little bit.
And saves you some money.
Yes.
Which, who doesn't like saving money?
I don't know.
Nobody.
Silence. Hopefully that's silence on the other end because I like saving money.
Yeah.
So anyways, if you, again, it's just a free way of helping out the show. Just click that link and you'll support Market House. All right, let's dive into that news. All right, first up, we've got some big news for Disneyland, and that is the Disney's 100th anniversary and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. We have a date for both of these events, essentially, to open up. So Mickey Runaway Railway, I'm going to shorten it to that. It's a long title. This ride and Disney, the company, the Walt Disney Company's, their 100th anniversary celebration, all is going to start on this one day, and that is January 27th. That is a giant day for the Disney Company. You've got the 100th anniversary celebration starting, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opening up in Toontown.
AKA, it's going to be the most packed weekend
It
probably
is.
of the year other than Christmas Day.
Seriously, it's going to be a busy weekend.
Which, I do have to say, I'm quite excited about the Runaway Railway opening up. That is one of our favorite rides in Hollywood Studios over at Disney World.
Yeah.
And not to mention, on top of a new ride, we just get to see the new refurbished Toontown area.
So this is the curveball.
Oh.
It won't be open. So from my understanding, the Toontown area, it'll be like cordoned off. So you'll get a pathway to the new ride.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that Toontown will not be ready yet.
Why would they do that?
I think it's because they want to get some hype for the 100th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're giving us something for this big celebration, right?
Yeah.
And at least it's more than... I appreciate it.
Yeah, I do appreciate it because, again,
it's better than nothing, right?
100%. But it would have been super cool if they could have opened the whole land. Like, that would have been...
I don't think the timing with the pandemic
Yeah,
probably worked out.
totally get
I'm
it.
I'm assuming it was supposed to be done for this.
Right.
But that whole COVID thing happened and kind
Yeah.
of messed everything up.
Well, hey, at least we get the ride. So I'm super excited.
Yeah.
And it's going to be different, apparently,
Yeah.
according to someone. I forgot.
The track design's supposed to be
Yeah.
different. I don't know if we're getting different scenes or if it just means it's going to be... the layout's going to be different.
They're like, actually, we mean just the outside of the ride.
Yeah.
Is different.
So excited to see that. But let me read you off an official Disneyland little excerpt here of what the 100th anniversary will entail. So at Disneyland Park, attendees can expect to see the original Sleeping Beauty castle decorated with platinum banners and pixie dust, courtesy of the three good fairies from Sleeping Beauty, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. At DCA Park, or at Disney California Adventure Park, the new show World of Color 1 will pay homage to Walt Disney's storytelling legacy through a new song, Start a Wave. Similarly, at Disneyland, the original Magic Kingdom will become a glorious nighttime spectacular called Wondrous Journeys. Using projection effects, the event will turn Main Street USA, Sleeping Beauty Castle, the facade of It's a Small World, and the Rivers of America into a glorious Technicolor display, and on certain evenings, it's slated to incorporate fireworks. So, again, classic, I think, weekends, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
They will have fireworks. And then what they don't mention in this official statement, though, is that there's going to be 2 fountains added right in front of Sleeping Beauty's castle. So the moat right there?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have 2 fountains spraying up water throughout the day.
And
it's just going to be pretty...
a specialty popcorn bucket.
I know that. And we didn't mention all the new... There's going to be exclusive merch, food options, the usual Disney treatment of a anniversary.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of fun stuff. So Disneyland's getting a lot of cool things for the 100th. I'm not entirely sure Disney World gets the same fanfare.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But I do have to say, the castle that what they're going to be doing for the 100th,
It looks
really good.
It looks really good. It's like understated. It's not too in your face.
No, but it looks pretty.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the 60th anniversary
Yeah.
of Disneyland.
The blue everywhere.
The blue.
Yeah,
I
this will be
loved
platinum.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very excited.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see what comes out of
So
it.
look out for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway as well as Disney's 100th anniversary.
All right, we have some news regarding a little accident that happened over at Disneyland this weekend. We had a couple trams collide.
Yeah, what in the heck?
Now, before anyone gets too nervous, nobody was hurt, but there was damage done to some of the trams.
Yeah,
so
no one was on it either, so that was good news.
Yeah.
Apparently, so my guess, so this happened near downtown Disney, that whole loading area. My guess is that someone tried to whip that U-turn. You know, they do a big loop.
Yeah.
I maybe it's close to closing. You got 2 cast members that are exhausted, wanting to go home. One person takes that turn too wide or something, and it clipped.
You're like, oops.
Yeah, the side. So there's a huge chunk off of like a couple of tram cars. And so, again, not a huge news story, just something that's very interesting. Again, I'm thankful that no one was on board. But yeah, I guess hold on next time you're on that tram. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like a ride in itself. But yeah, 2 trams collide at Disneyland.
All right, next up we have some news regarding new meet and greets coming to DCA. So first up we have M'Baku from Black Panther, which will appear on November 11th, as well as the spooky, he's absolutely terrifying, the Werewolf by Night figure is now appearing as well. And let me tell you, the music that they play in the background when the werewolf comes out at night at DCA is quite scary.
Yeah, you've seen it more than I have.
Yes.
Again, like we mentioned earlier in the intro, I was so confused. Caitlin showed me this character on Instagram of this werewolf, and I said, what is this? Is this some, I was thinking it was some generic werewolf character that they just pulled out.
Like just for Halloween.
Just for Halloween, like, Universal on the streets doing all this scary stuff. Let's do something. So that's what I assumed it was. I was wrong. There's a special on Disney Plus. So yeah, she showed me this. It makes sense. Again, it looks like a generic character, not going to lie. You can't really differentiate werewolves. But yes, they play this eerie music. I think they've got like a fog machine going and lights.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of the ambiance, not necessarily how the character looks, because again, kind of like when they brought Moon Knight out, it's like that scary kind of demeanor that has over the park. As Caleb mentioned, there's fog. The music is loud. And
Really?
when he's like growling, it's loud.
Cool.
So again, if you like the show, it's a good little thing. I'm sure they'll do for a little bit just for Halloween.
Yeah.
But
And then M'Baku, I think we're saying that right, is one of the characters from Black Panther, and we're excited to see him in November.
I love Black
I know.
Panther.
We need some more Black Panther, representing. I'm assuming it's because of the new movie coming out.
Yes.
Black Panther 2 something. I'm already forgetting the title, but
Isn't it Wakanda Forever or something?
yeah, maybe you're right.
I think so.
I
I
don't
can't
know.
wait. Oh, I love.
I know.
Yeah,
Chadwick. But yeah, new meet and greets coming to DCA. And our final news story takes place over in Disney World. They're getting a little love this week. And it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is getting a holiday edition. So they're getting a holiday overlay. They finally have one. They normally don't really do that other than Jingle Cruise, right? Because, they're very jealous of our Haunted Mansion holiday overlay.
Right.
They really get Jingle Cruise, and I think that's it.
Yeah.
I may be way wrong, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But they don't get a lot of holiday love over there, so they're getting one. Again, this is a minor one. Basically, instead of the usual rotating group of kind of those classic 70s, 80s songs that they usually play for the ride, it's getting an original song created
Ooh.
for the holiday. So my understanding is that it's inspired by holiday classics. They're not going to play like Jingle Bells, but it's going to be inspired and sound like those kinds of songs, but be a total original lyric whole thing.
I'm quite jealous that Guardians of the Galaxy over on the West Coast isn't getting a holiday overlay.
I mean, for Christmas, right?
Yeah. But, one I did remember is Living with the Land gets a holiday overlay.
Oh, you're right.
Which is, we've never
So they have a
experienced,
couple.
which I'm very jealous of
Yeah.
all you Disney Worldians over there. That is one of my favorite rides. So,
Yeah. Oh, cool. All right. So look out for Guardians of the Galaxy and their new holiday overlay. All right. It's that time again. It's Disney Trivia. Caitlin took the cake last week. She went 1 for 2. I went 0 for 2. My first time missing all of them. Hoping to do a little better this week in Disney Trivia. Caitlin's jamming out as usual as she jams to the music.
I wish you guys could see us because we just awkwardly stare at each other and smile and wait for the other one to start dancing.
Because we love the song. It's a good jam. All right, let's get into it.
All right, Caleb, are you ready for some Disney trivia?
I'm ready.
All right.
Bring it on.
First question. What is the name of the pub that Flynn brings Rapunzel to in Tangled?
Ugly Duckling.
No, incorrect.
Wait, what?
Very close.
The something duckling, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not the Ugly Duckling?
No, it's very close.
Oh man, I was confident with that answer.
Mm-hmm.
The Snuggly Duckling?
Yes!
Okay, all right. So it's like, I knew it was a play off that thing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice. All right.
I'll take it.
1 point. In Monsters, Inc., what is the code number for a white sock?
Oh man. It's not I went to say Stitches thing, 626, right? Or something like that.
Yes.
2319?
Correct.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
My friends, Caleb is 2 for 2.
All right.
Hard number to beat here.
I'll take it.
Man, I was hoping you were going to say like 2206 or something.
Sorry. Okay, Caitlin, are you ready for your 2 questions
I'm
this
ready.
week? Here we go. What do Aladdin and his monkey Abu steal from the marketplace when you're first introduced to them in the movie?
An apple.
No.
What?
Again, according to this, I don't know.
He's eating an apple.
The trivia website disagrees.
Okay. Is it a fruit?
No. Aladdin and his monkey Abu steal from the marketplace when you're first introduced to them in the movie.
I'm almost positive it's an apple.
Maybe. We'll have to fact check this one. This one's a loaf of bread.
Oh,
Is that right?
maybe.
Okay.
I could have swore it was
Maybe
an
we'll
apple.
we'll check on that one later. Okay.
No, I'm like, we need to watch Aladdin.
Is that like the play one that are you getting confused with Disney? Like remember Disneyland,
Oh,
the stage
maybe.
play? They changed it to that maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because you can see that from the audience a little better than a loaf of bread.
Probably.
Okay. Probably
I
that.
need to watch that again.
Okay, here we go. Number 2. Who was the only Disney main character who didn't talk throughout the entire film? The only Disney main character who didn't talk throughout the entire film.
Disney main character. Aurora.
No.
No, dang it. She
sings, right?
Yeah. I'm stupid.
You're not stupid. Don't say that.
Can I have a hint?
You can have a hint. I will give you a hint. This is kind of inside whatever. You guys at home won't know this, but my brother on this recent trip, which we're going to dive into today, was obsessed with this for some reason throughout the whole entire trip.
Dumbo,
yes.
I do not get his obsession.
So my middle brother, I'm the oldest of three, and the middle one, I don't understand. He just suddenly was obsessed with Dumbo this whole entire trip.
Buying art.
He bought an art piece about Dumbo. I did not know his affinity for Dumbo. So, all right, yeah. So Caitlin went 1 for 2, possibly 2 for 2. We'll have to fact check that first question.
Yeah, let me know, you guys, is it bread or an apple? Am I losing my mind?
They say a loaf of bread.
Yes, send us a DM on Market House Podcast Instagram and let me know what you're thinking. Because I swear I'm seeing him like dangling and eating an apple.
It could be.
Because I can see the shop owner like getting mad at Aladdin.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let me know.
Okay, here we go. All right, let's go ahead and dive into today's main segment. All right, and that brings us to this week's main segment, and that is our trip report from our recent Disneyland vacation. So we went during Halloween. It's our second year in a row doing this with family.
Mm-hmm.
And so we came off of our Disney cruise, right? And how many weeks later? 2 weeks maybe?
Yeah.
We go on this?
Around 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it was like Disney trip after Disney trip, which was fun, but a lot. I missed my bed, and then we just had to leave again and go off to SoCal. I mean, it could be worse. I sound like I'm complaining. I'm not. I'm just making an observation.
Caleb really likes his bed.
I do. Okay, a little background here.
Like we can be at the most fanciest place ever, and Caleb be like, "Oh, miss my bed."
Can I get a little context here? So my parents bought me a bed when I was living at home, and I'm sure it wasn't the nicest bed in the world, right? A mattress. I move out for the first time in my life. I buy the cheapest mattress available.
Right.
So I'm living in my apartment, single guy life. I can't afford anything, so I buy this cheap. Oh, I don't remember how much it was. It was very cheap. So I go from that to when we get married, Caitlin was given an old mattress back in the day. It was inherited from a family friend of ours.
Right.
So we've had very either cruddy mattresses or used mattresses. Mm-hmm. Finally, I said, Caitlin, we're saving up for a fancy mattress, and went to Costco, bought one, and I love it. It's the first time in my life I've ever had a decent mattress. So I love it. It's this hybrid, right? It's a hybrid thing.
I love that we're talking
I did
about
all this research. I did months of research. I'm very proud of my decision, and it's worked out. It's my favorite mattress in the world. So anyways, when I leave it, I get sad because I'm used to my plush, beautiful mattress at home. Anyways, enough about the mattress. Let's talk about Disneyland and how it went.
Yeah. So again, as Caleb mentioned, we did go during Halloween, which is my favorite time of year to go.
Yeah, and it was specifically end of September. So I think it was the last week of September did we go?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so we flew down on a Thursday afternoon and went to the parks Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then flew back home Monday morning.
That's correct. And unfortunately, are you guys ready for this? Just like our August trip, it was very, very hot.
It was unbelievably hot. It was 93 degrees pretty much every single day of our trip. Mm-hmm. And again, like we mentioned, sound like a broken record, 93 degrees in Anaheim is hot because that sun is intense and you're outside all day. Yeah. And it was a little, just enough humidity to be uncomfortable. It was, again, my dad's from St. Louis, and he just kept saying, it feels like we're back visiting my parents.
I do have to say, though, it was nice at night because the heat went down more than it did during our August trip.
It cooled down more at night.
But yeah, so anyways, that was just something that we had to think of. It was quite funny because the following week when we were home from our trip, it was like 79 degrees.
Beautiful.
Down in Anaheim.
I will make this. I was gonna talk about it later, but I will mention, I think I'm done with hot. I think we're going to avoid the parks when it's hot. Like I will straight up cancel a trip if we're a week out and I see that's going to be 85 plus, I'd argue, or maybe not 85 plus, but like low 90s and up, I'm probably canceling.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. My patience level goes out the window. By noon, I'm cranky and I want to nap. It's too hot.
Yeah, it's super busy too. So
and it was very busy. So we'll get into that in a second, but let's start how Let's tell them how we started our trip.
Yes. So we kind of have a tradition with our family where the first night we all meet up in downtown Disney and have dinner at Tortilla Joe's. And we did that again this time. We were originally supposed to go to Storytellers Cafe.
And they changed it. So I booked this because I was very excited to show my family the restaurant. They've never been there.
Which, for those who don't know, this is the Storytellers Cafe is the restaurant inside the Grand Californian.
Yes. So they've got a couple. They've got the very fancy Napa Rose, which is like, 50 plus a plate and kind of ritzier, right? That's their steakhouse. And then they've got Storytellers Cafe, which is a casual sit-down restaurant. And then they have another place, which is very casual. So,
Right.
yes. So this place used to offer character breakfast in the morning. Don't remember what lunch was. And then, if I'm remembering correctly, dinner was an a la carte menu.
Right.
So you could order pizza, you could order a burger, what have you, and it was very reasonable. Now it's a prefix menu, and it was $44 a person.
Right. And again, it's when you're going with a large group, it's kind of unfair to be like, oh yeah, everyone's paying $44 a head because
Sure.
like Caleb's siblings are there and they're younger. So it's kind of like,
Out in the world for the first time, so they
Yeah.
probably don't have a spare $100 to spend on
right.
dinner.
So we decided to switch last minute. They were very helpful, the cast members, in canceling our reservation, so we didn't get charged. And then I think we waited like 45 minutes at Tortilla Joe's because the parks, which we will get into in a little bit, even downtown Disney, I have never
It was bad.
seen it this busy, literally even pre-COVID.
Yeah.
It was like you were shoulder to shoulder with people.
Very
So
busy.
we finally did get into Tortilla Joe's after a 45-minute wait, had some good food, chips,
Yeah.
salsa.
So the food's always great, but again, I'm going to have to go back to, I don't know if we mentioned it in last year's trip report, but we didn't have the best experience service-wise. And then the second time it wasn't that great. The person seemed very annoyed to be, like, again, I don't have high expectations. I don't want to sound like a jerk and be like, he didn't serve me right. But maybe he said 4 words to us the whole time. It was like, what do you want? And then that was
wasn't
it.
just us, like your parents mentioned, like,
That's true.
Hey, are they normally like this?
Yeah,
And we're
he was like,
no.
is he mad that he's serving us?
Yeah, and again, it's not cheap food. Like,
No,
for
nothing
all
in
of us,
Disney's.
it was a couple $100 for us to all be there.
Yeah.
Because we had a party of 7. So again, you're kind of going into it going, hey, we're paying a chunk of money. And we maybe saw him like 3 times.
I know.
It's literally when he asked what our food was, and then he brought it out, and then it was for the check, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, it was not very
But
good.
to give him credit, it was slammed.
It was.
He's probably just super busy.
That's true.
So,
That's true. I don't want to assume that it was him. It could
Right.
be a staffing issue.
totally.
But I will say, when 2 times in a row,
Right.
it's kind of a trend.
Which is
so,
sad because we love that place.
Yeah.
The food is amazing. They have the best chips and tacos and anything in between.
Yeah,
So, but regarding it being busy, holy cow.
it was packed. And I think I should have expected this because for some reason, when we planned this trip months in advance, I told my parents, I'm usually the planner. I'm usually texting people, this is the flight we're taking, book this one. This is the hotel we're staying at, pick between these 3 hotels. And so I was looking for this trip. And usually being in Northern California, Southwest does these crazy good offers and you can pay anywhere from as cheap as $39 to, I don't know, what is it? $59, $69 for
normally.
one way down to John Wayne or Long Beach. This was not that. And for some reason, it was a very busy and very expensive weekend. It was a couple $100 a person round trip for these flights. So we were very confused, already, this is going to be an expensive trip. The hotel rates were very expensive. We were looking to see if there were any events or conventions down there during our trip. There was not. So I don't know if people just all decided to pick up and leave this one weekend. I'm not sure, but I should have expected it because it was an expensive trip. But it was packed.
It was packed.
Absolutely packed. Saturday was by far the busiest in the park. Friday was busy, and then Sunday was the lightest. But
Yeah,
even downtown Disney was busy. It was crazy.
It was crazy. And it wasn't one of those trips where, like normally people kind of gather in like certain areas of the park and you're like, oh, that's a busy section. This trip, it felt like people were literally everywhere.
Everywhere.
It just, and
It
again,
felt like the closest to pre-COVID holiday time. And this is why we're so confused. It was the end of September. So I would expect this in like the 3rd week of October, right? Like closer to Halloween time.
yeah, I think we kind of nailed it down to like reasoning wise with the crowds. It was the first weekend following the start of the 30% off for the Magic Key discounts
Okay.
for all the merch.
That's true.
I have little things that normally people wouldn't be buying. like, again, we'll get into a couple things later. People were just grabbing stuff off the shelves and just going crazy because it was 30% off.
I took a picture of someone because I said, I sent it to Caitlin in the group because I think me and my brother were waiting outside for you guys in World of Color. And I looked through the window and this lady had a cart full of like 5 of everything of like in that section. Yeah. And I sent a picture. I said, this is why we can't buy things.
That's a reseller.
That is a reseller.
We are not fans of resellers.
Yeah. And you can usually tell when it's 5 of the same item and it was like 12 items. So,
right. So again, with that being said, with the parks being super busy, Caleb and I and the family decided to do Genie Plus twice.
We did.
And we normally do it only once for a trip. So that just goes to show you we did cave and do it twice.
How packed it was. Mm-hmm. And again, I would be an advocate to not do it. But again, since my family only goes like once or twice max a year, they really want to get rides in. And so we said, sure, we'll pay for it. This is the first time we got that 20% off with our Magic Key, which was nice. So it was $32 for us.
Yeah, I do feel though the only caveat, which was kind of a bummer with Genie Plus, was since Saturday was so busy.
Yeah,
Genie Plus was dramatically affected. We barely got to ride anything on Saturday because all the times were pushed out.
Yeah, so it shows, I think, that Genie Plus was oversold, and this is the problem that Disney World is having, where they even in the language when you purchase Genie Plus over there, it says expect to be able to get pretty much 3 or 4 return times. And that's how much we got over here. We maybe used it 3 times. And usually when you buy Genie Plus, you can use it and really like ride probably 9+ rides if you're doing it right. And we did not get that return.
Yeah, no. And then just to give you like an example, the line for the Lightning Lane for Guardians was stretched all the way to the shawarma cart in Adventures Campus.
Unbelievable. I mean, I've never seen Lightning Lane lines so long in my life.
Mm-mm. It was insane.
It was busy. Like it's hitting me now how busy it was.
Because again, you think back and you're like, oh, okay, like it's busy, whatever, it's holiday time. But when you take the crowd level and you're like, this is busier than it was before COVID, it's just very interesting.
And this is how busy it was. It was so busy that my mom and Caitlin and some other people in the group were so kind of flustered and like, this is so that they were like, maybe we don't do Halloween next time just because of how busy it was.
Yeah, we're possibly thinking about maybe doing Christmas. I mean, again,
I like how we're just trading.
I know.
Yeah, one busy.
But again, it's not hot during Christmas time.
True.
So again, when the whole group is like literally dying and not talking to each other because it's so hot.
I know. Like, I love you guys, but I don't want to talk right now.
Caleb's little brother, he could tell it was too hot
dunzo.
for him. So
Dunzo.
But you know what? We're going to talk about some high notes here because we had literally some great memories.
It was a good trip. It sounds like we're being pretty negative, but like it was.
We're getting all the negatives out right now.
Yeah, we're done with it. So let's talk about all the good things.
Good thing number 1, which we are humongous fans of. We went to Flo's V8 Cafe.
Which is a new favorite. It is a new favorite. So last trip we told you we realized our affinity for this place, and they delivered again.
You need to tell them about your new delicious shake that your brother told you to get.
Yeah, so I'm going to give all credit to my brother, and he ordered this Neapolitan shake. And I'm normally a boring vanilla guy. Mm-hmm. He's sitting there chowing down, and this is how good it looked. Is the order times for mobile order were pushed out like 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. And so he sat there and waited 40 minutes for his shake. This is how tired we were too and how hot it was.
Yeah.
It looked so good that I said, I'm going to sit here and wait another 40 minutes to get one. So I ordered it. We all sat in there in the air-conditioned room for 40 more minutes and waited for this thing. It was so good.
Yeah, it was great. It had like chocolate on the bottom, vanilla in the middle, and then strawberry on top.
Oh, man.
Which I do know that they will switch the order of that because you and your brothers were switched up. But the strawberry was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I loved it all.
It was good.
But
so another favorite of Flo's.
Yeah, definitely check it out if you are over there. But one thing I wanted to mention about mobile order, which was kind of a bummer, I noticed that certain things weren't showing up on the menus when we were going to order and mobile order during busy times. Like, for example, Caleb did get an ice cream on Main Street over at Disneyland at Gibson Girl.
Yeah, really quick, by the way, I did eat salad in between here and stuff. It makes it seem like...
Caleb's eating ice cream, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I got a Neapolitan shake, I got an ice cream at Gibson
This
Girl.
was a different day.
Yeah, and topped it off with a cupcake from...
It just reminded me, and let me tell the people why, because this was a sad day for Kaylin. Caleb ordered his delicious hot fudge sundae, and normally I always get a waffle cone with cookies and cream ice cream at Gibson Girl. I've said it on here 400 times. It's my favorite thing to get at Gibson Girl. They weren't allowing you to mobile order a waffle cone.
It was the weirdest thing. So it was
weird.
I scoured the menu, making sure I did not miss it. I clicked through every single option.
Right.
Maybe it's buried somewhere. Maybe they messed up. It was not there. So, and then I noticed the standby line was nearly out the door.
It looked like a 45-minute wait.
So I'm assuming they took it off and said, if you want this item for some reason, you have to come stand in line.
Yeah.
It was weird. And then really quick, let me actually talk about Gibson Girl and the unfortunate experience. Again, we're going back to the negative. But
this is good to know for people with allergies.
It is. So I know some of you folks have reached out and said, hey, I'm gluten intolerant or have celiac as well or what have you. And let me tell you something that was kind of weird. And that is I ordered like Caitlin said, a hot fudge sundae, right? And normally when you mobile order, you can go up and say, hey, before I mark that I'm here, want to let you know that this is an allergy order and whatever, right? They usually handle it a little differently. This time he said, yeah, actually the cast member was like, yeah, no problem. Clicked it. The manager came up and said, hey, next time you order an allergy, you need to stand in the standby line.
And Caleb was like, oh, why? I've always kind of done it like this.
I was told to do it like this. I was told a couple visits ago, hey, just tell us next time if you have an allergy in the mobile order thing and we'll just handle it differently.
And then the manager was kind of like, well, someone has to come out and prep that for you.
Yeah, and I said, so I'm being penalized. I got to wait an hour.
Yeah.
Because I've got an allergy. It was bizarre.
What I don't understand with that, though, is either way someone has to prep it. Why can't you just mobile order it like you normally do? Because then you just stand there.
I don't know.
It's weird.
Maybe it was a one-off. Maybe he was confused.
I think it was just a one-off because we've done it so many times.
Yeah.
And the cast member was super cool about it.
It's not like I made it up. I was told that I should order it this way and give them a heads up before I click I'm here, right? On the mobile order. So it was interesting. Again, I feel like in some cases, Disneyland is regressing a little bit on their allergy things.
We'll do an episode soon on all the gluten-free allergy tips and tricks.
I won't dive in now, but I feel like 5-6 years ago we were in a better spot than today. But I'll save that for another episode.
Now, the last mobile order I want to bring up, which I've talked to a couple of people on Instagram over, was during the Halloween season, they brought back the Darth by chocolate.
Yes.
I've wanted to try this for years, and I just never have done it. They brought it back, and multiple times I'm like, I'm going to mobile order it. Went to mobile order. It was not on the Galactic Grill's mobile order site. Yeah. So I'm like, they're sold out.
Another missing item.
Because it's so popular. Well, turns out, so we went the whole trip with me thinking it's sold out. I never checked. Caleb kept telling me, just go check. And I'm like, no, it's probably just sold out because literally everyone talks about it. Sure enough, we got home. One of our followers posted that they got it. And I messaged her and I was like, hey, how did you what? Yeah. I tried to mobile order it and she's like, oh, it was broken last weekend. It wasn't showing up on the mobile order site. You just had to walk up and you could order it in person.
Oh, it was broken?
Yes, it just wasn't popping up. So I don't know if it's currently still not popping up.
I thought they purposely did that because because it's so popular, they want you to do a standby thing.
That's what I thought. She was told by a cast member that it was not showing up and it was not working correctly.
Oh,
again, I don't know if that's true.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, go check the restaurant. Don't listen to mobile order because it was there the whole time.
Well, maybe the waffle cone deal was an error too.
Yeah, it might have been.
Weird. Okay.
For all you Darth by Chocolate people, go check.
Yeah.
That's there.
Check the restaurant, Galactic Grill, right?
Yes, Galactic Grill.
Okay. So. Another bummer. This is a classic rest area for us. The animation building in Hollywoodland was closed.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was an announced refurb, but they were closed for the next week or two.
I think they announced it just before we went.
Got it.
But it was one of those things where we went to go do an animation class and they're like, oh, you can't go in. And for everyone that wanted to do the drawing.
Grogu. The Grogu drawing, did you see the line for that?
Yes. So it was wrapped around Hollywood Boulevard or whatever that is. And you had to wait outside and then going through this back door over kind of by Guardians.
It's kind of jank. So yeah, they had all these back entrances for what was in the animation building. So I'm assuming it's just the lobby that's getting some kind of refurbishment or what have you. So drawing's still available. You just line up outside as well as something we took part in. What's it called?
The Turtle Talk by Crush.
Turtle Talk by Crush.
And I have to say, that was so fun.
It was awesome. We haven't done that in years.
Yeah, and let me tell you, you do not have to be a kid to just go in there.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Again, Caleb and I don't have kids. We went in there with family, obviously, and it was so fun just to hear the littles talking to Crush.
Yeah.
And it was funny. He was talking to some adults. So I highly recommend going in there, especially if it's a hot day and you want to sit down for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It was fun. Like we mentioned before, lots of shopping during this trip because us Magic Key holders got a surprise 30% off of merchandise for the month of October, right? Pretty much?
Yeah, I think it ends the 12th. Don't quote me, but I'm almost positive.
So it started in mid-September. So it was a full like 30 days of 30% off. Wow.
I think it was like September like 20th or something.
Okay.
Whatever it was. But yeah, it ends soon. So
that is unreal. Again, it was a surprise to us. No one really understands why. Maybe it was how we handled Magic Key renewals. This is a goodwill, a goodwill effort of gaining back favor. But whatever, we took advantage of it. I'm not asking questions. Caitlin, what'd you get?
So I picked up a couple hair ties. This
Whoa.
kind of sounds weird. Everyone's like, wow, Caitlin, congratulations. I've always wanted to get like a Disney hair tie from there. They have multiple like different kinds there.
She just refused to do it because of
they're $15.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm so cheap. I'm like, I'm not paying $15 for that.
You can get a lot of hair ties for $15.
Yeah, so there was like this pack. Again, it was $14.99 prior to the 30%, but one was like Mickey, I think, and the other one was Minnie, and they have a cute little bow on them. So
fun.
Again, small but super cute and fun to have at the parks in your bag.
Yep.
So.
Caitlin also got the newest Halloween Spirit jersey. That was the first night purchase.
I was so nervous. For people that listened to our episode a couple weeks back, I was so nervous that it was going to sell out.
So we eat at Tahoe
Joe's.
Sorry, that's a local restaurant. Tortilla Joe's. I either call it Tahoe Joe's, Trader Joe's, or sometimes I get it right with Tortilla Joe's. Anywho, the Mexican restaurant in downtown Disney. We eat there. Caitlin beelines it to World of Disney, and she goes straight to that Halloween Spirit jersey. She's like, which one? Small, medium, what?
And they had an abundance of Spirit jerseys left. So
they had a ton.
I don't know if it's just not popular or if Disney just ordered way too many.
Yeah.
Because there was a ton.
Yeah, so Caitlin locked that down the first night and wasn't able to wear it because it was very hot.
I wore it when I got home. Actually, on the way home from the airport. I wore it.
You did.
So that was nice. And then we also picked up, last minute, we couldn't find it for like half the trip, but the Mickey Mummy popcorn bucket. We searched everywhere for it, couldn't find it. It was sold out. And then finally, our last night, we were able to pick it up. And
yeah, we happened to be walking, and we saw the lady with the cart walking towards
over by the castle.
And this is not 30% off because it's a right. It's not, or is it? It's not
because it's at a cart.
Oh, it's at a cart. Okay, so you don't get the 30% off, but again, it's something we picked up. But yes, Caitlin got her Mummy popcorn bucket she's been wanting for a while. And finally, our final item we bought during this trip was a little surprise for Miss Caitlin over here. So long story short, my father was looking in a restaurant. Man, my mind is on food apparently.
Caleb's very hungry.
Yeah. I'm like, I want a steak and something. So my dad was in a store and looking at the Dooney and Burke bags, and he was looking for my mom and was looking at this bag, and Caitlin just, I don't know, you walked by and said, oh, I love these things. You should get, my mom one. And then you pointed to the duffel and said, if I were to pick one, I want that duffel.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, it's the white Dooney bags with like the little Disney characters. They almost look like they're animated on them.
Yeah.
I've looked at them and loved them for years, but they are so expensive that I'm like, I'm never going to get one of these. Like, it's too much.
So little did Caitlin know, she said, yeah, I love that duffel bag. And we're looking at it, and the cast member either heard her or was helping someone else out and said, I think I only have one of those left in the back.
Well, yeah, because everyone was grabbing the Dooney bags.
It was crazy. Yeah, you think these things were like free.
Like pancakes or something.
Meanwhile, my dad's looking for my mom, and I sneak out into the next room. It was at Elias & Co., right? So you guys are in that front section where all the Dooney stuffs are. I go to the left and go to the next room, and I catch the cast member going in the back, and I said, hey, if you've got another back there, can you grab another of the duffels? Oh, sure. So he was super cool. He said, actually had one more. So we only had two new ones. Me and this lady took the last ones, and I checked out in the room next door. Meanwhile, they're calling me. Where did you go? You disappeared. And I surprised Caitlin at Turtle Talk with Crush. Very special.
No, it was right outside the...
Oh, it was?
Yeah, Elias & Co.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was with Caleb's dad, and he's like, where's Caleb? I'm like, I have no idea. Shall be talking to someone. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And so we're standing out by like the Headless Horseman. And we're kind of like taking in like the ambiance and like the Oogie Boogie things getting projected and everything. And I'm talking to Caleb, and he's like, I'm coming out right now. I'm like, oh, okay. So I tell his dad, and sure enough, I hear his dad go, uh-oh. And I'm like, what the heck? And I look at Caleb's dad, and he's just like beaming with like this huge smile. I look over what he's looking at, and Caleb has this big Disney bag in his hand. And I literally, it was the sweetest thing ever. It was
a fun surprise.
It was a core memory, and I literally brought tears to my eyes because not only is Caleb the sweetest man alive, but it was just a special moment.
Stop it.
You're seriously the best.
No,
I
no,
love
no.
you so much.
No, it's a good, you gotta spoil your wives, guys, once in a while. your significant other. You just got to do it. And this was a moment where you go, you know what? It wasn't just because of the discount, but you go, there's no better time to do it, right? You get a little money off and also make your wife happy.
It was a core memory for sure, so I'll never
good.
forget it.
So we did lock down a Dooney duffel bag. So if you see Caitlin toting around at the Sacramento airport or, in the plane, you'll know where she got that from.
Right.
Finally, sorry, we're spending a lot of time on shopping. We, right when we got home, they didn't have the Halloween mat that we wanted in the parks, as well as the Mickey Light Up pumpkin. So that very popular Mickey big, what is it?
It's the Mickey Jack-o'-lantern pumpkin that's supposed to resemble the Winky Blinky pumpkin on Main Street.
Yeah, still don't agree with that name. But yeah, it went in stock for like 5 seconds. One morning we were there. They had like 6 left in the store and they sold out in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so we never got those items. So when we got home, we ordered these items because they came in stock. So I stayed up till midnight.
Yeah, because they put it on Twitter. And then a couple of people were asking, like, how did Caleb know that they were going to be on Shop Disney? They tweeted about it on their Twitter account, Shop Disney, obviously.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, dropping tomorrow morning. And I reached out to someone on Instagram and I was like, hey, because she kind of knew like when they would drop stuff. And she's like, hey, it's at midnight. So,
Pacific, right?
Pacific, yeah. So Caleb, so sweet. He stayed up until midnight.
A normal occurrence for me. But I stayed up and had my little iPad out and I was like, dig. So I kept refreshing and it didn't actually pop up until like 12:03, which was weird. So anyways, locked that down. Caitlin woke up very excited the next morning and it still isn't here. So
no,
the mat showed up. It's awesome, but we're still waiting for the jack-o'-lantern. I'm assuming they sold a ton of these things, so they just have them in a warehouse.
Yeah. And they're not light. They're heavy.
Yeah.
And they're big. So again, as long as it's here before Halloween, I don't care.
Cool.
But I'm so excited.
So yeah, that was our shopping month there. We will be taking donations next month so we can pay rent.
No.
I'm just kidding. But I'm just kidding. Caitlin gave me a look. It wasn't a good one. Should not joke about that, I guess. Finally, our overall thoughts of this trip. Caitlin, what did you think?
Yeah, you know what? Overall, I had a great time.
Yeah, it's always fun with family.
Yeah, we had a ton of, and when I say core memories, I mean memories that like literally we'll never forget. It was hot and it was very busy, but sometimes even with that, it makes for the best trip because it's the little things that you remember, like eating dinner with your family or getting chocolate caramels and searching for a Bing Bong that doesn't exist inside the Bing Bong shop.
Yeah, still didn't lock that down.
Yeah, we checked again. It wasn't there. But yeah, it was just, again, the bag surprise and just being able to be with family on like the big rides and just laughing. And there's something about like riding Splash Mountain late at night and getting head to toe soaked with your family. It was a great time.
Yeah, and we had enough people to fill up an entire log.
Yes.
So we were all in there. We got good pictures. Since we had Genie Plus, we downloaded, took advantage of that photo pass and downloaded a bunch of ride photos. And it is fun. You're right. It is fun going with family. And I think the pandemic made us realize how important those moments are, right? You just don't know what's going to happen. You never know what tomorrow's going to bring. And so once you lock down a family vacation, you just don't want to give that up. So we already have next year, my family's already texting going, when do we want to go?
Right.
So we're, it's going to be, I don't know, are we doing spring? Are we doing Christmas time? So it's just fun. It's just a fun tradition. Like we said, it was hot. Mm-hmm. We'll try and avoid that. And again, you can't help sometimes, but SoCal, it's hot all the time.
Right.
But we'll try our best to avoid those types of weeks just because it does affect the trip. The weekend was proof that people are back to traveling again, not just to Disney. Let me tell you, when I went on my work trip, all the airports I were in, it was unbelievable. Parking was sold out at our airport for most of the lots. I think people are back and going out. Mm-hmm. I think they just waited a couple of years because of the pandemic and they're out doing it again.
And with that said, just a little pointer for Genie Plus. On extremely busy days, just keep in mind that Genie Plus might be affected, so it might be not as convenient as it normally is.
It's tough. It's a tough decision, too, because you go, do I sit out here and melt standing in standby lines? All the lines are pretty much 60 minutes plus, or do I buy a service that is not going to work as intended? Mm-hmm. It's hard,
because, again, it'll still work, but you're just not going to get as many rides as you normally would.
Sure.
So again, just keep it in mind. If you know that going in, it might help your situation.
Sure.
But
just know the cost per ride is going to be higher than usual. Let's see here. What else? Check the restaurant, Caitlin. Like you mentioned.
Yeah, if you want Darth by Chocolate or any waffle cone, please check to make sure they have it.
Yes.
They probably will. So.
Probably will. And then finally, my final thoughts on this, and this is kind of a new thing, and Caitlin and I have been discussing it because it disturbs me a little bit. It just rattles me. What? I've always been a Disneyland guy. That's been my thing.
Oh,
But ever since we've been going on these cruises, and if you haven't listened, last week we covered our Alaskan cruise to wait, it was to Alaska. I'm clearly mixed up.
Caleb's hungry.
I'm hungry. I need dinner. So Disney cruise, we took a Disney cruise to Alaska and we had a fantastic time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like going from a Disney cruise and like 2 to 3 weeks later going to Disneyland, I was like missing the cruise life a little bit. I turned to Caitlin on day 2 and I said, I miss just the pace of a cruise. I miss the limited amount of people. And you still get that Disney magic, but with less people.
Yeah, and then for those of you who haven't listened to last week's episode, we highly recommend. That was one of our favorite episodes to record just because we had such an amazing time. But with that being said, for those who haven't cruised with Disney Cruise Line specifically, it is a totally different ballgame of a vacation. It's one of the most relaxing things we've ever done.
Yeah.
And one of the most enjoyable vacations we've ever had. No matter what destination it's been to, again, we've done the Bohemian cruises as well as one trip to Alaska. The memories that you make on these cruise lines or this cruise ship, whatever you're doing, it's amazing.
It is.
It's so much fun. We were talking about this earlier. It's so different than a Disneyland trip or a Disney World trip because even though you are going to the park and you're on vacation, it's not something I would say is relaxing. You're planning, you're dealing with crowds, you're dealing with lines. The cruise life, it's different.
It's very
just
different.
A very calm, and you're able just to be with one. It's very enjoyable.
It is. You lose out on cell service, which is a good thing most of the time.
You get to unplug.
Yeah. And so I'm not sitting there, my face buried in a phone. I'm paying attention. We're both present.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's a different vacation. So I don't know. I'm not saying don't go to Disneyland.
We enjoy our Disney trips.
We definitely
We're not
do.
saying that.
I just, in some moments I go, I really like, it just makes you appreciate those Disney cruises that much more and for what they are. Again, two very different experiences.
Right.
On the cruise, I can't go ride Big Thunder Mountain, right? I can't go see Fantasmic.
Right.
So there's different things. It's a different vacation, but I would really encourage you the next time you're saving up for your big family vacation, look at both options and see what kind of makes sense. Disneyland's very expensive. I'm not going to say the Disney Cruise Line is not expensive. It's expensive, but food's included. It's less planning. I don't know.
Yeah, just now with this being like our third cruise, again, we are not big cruise people.
We're not
we haven't been on
experts
enough
at
to be
all.
an expert.
Yeah.
But now I truly understand why people say like the cruise life is AKA the best life.
Yeah.
Because it's so different and it's so much fun. And I know you're probably like, Caitlin, we get it. I'm like, no, seriously.
I need to tell you how much fun.
And coming from people who go to Disneyland as much as they possibly can, the cruise is just something special.
It is.
So
okay.
But we love Disneyland too.
Anyways, after all that, you should definitely go to Disneyland. Okay, that's it. But we're going to cut it off right here. Thank you so much for listening. You can find us on Instagram at Market House Podcast and Twitter at Market House Pod. Follow us over there for all the happenings, our cruise pictures, our park pictures, our anything Disney. We're posting it on there. Again, consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That helps us out a lot. Again, another friendly reminder, use our Undercover Tourist link in the episode description. If you're already planning a trip, just click that. Doesn't cost you any more. Actually saves you money to use Undercover Tourist, and that's a good way of supporting the show. Join us next week for another episode. This has been Caleb and Caitlin.
Bye.